Hi guys, it's Mr. Sean. Did you know that over half the people that watch this channel aren't subscribed yet? Did you also know that subscribing is the best and easiest way to help this channel? Please help me get to my goal this year of 1,000 subscribers. It's just a little click for you, but it means an awful lot to me. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
The topic of lost media is all the rage these days. But while everyone and their brother searches for well-known pieces like Saki Sanabashi, Slamfest 99, and old episodes of Doctor Who, there are hundreds, if not thousands of pieces that no one is looking for. These are those pieces. This is lesser-known lost media.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, here with volume, well, when is this? 37 of lesser-known lost media. Damn. You should probably know how this goes by now. We've done it 36 times before, but if you're starting with us this video, well, this is number 37. Why are you starting at number 37? Anyway, we start with 4 perfectly normal pieces of lost media, take a brief ad break, and then end with one that is slightly spicier. I also wanted to let everybody know that the found media iceberg is still in production, though I am having to make the iceberg myself, and as of this morning, I just finished the C section, so we've still got quite a bit to go before I'm able to make that series. Anyway, let's get started. At number 1, we have Jack and the Beanstalk, a lost early build of a Nintendo 64 disk drive game, circa 1995 to 1998. So this one's interesting because what was originally planned as the game Jack and the Beanstalk would eventually become an early build of Pokemon Snap. So Pokemon Snap is of course the first-person photography game that was created by HAL Laboratories in 1999. It was a spin-off of the Pokemon series and the first console-based Pokemon game ever created. However, Pokemon Snap wasn't originally a Pokemon game and instead was a game based on the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. So how did this all come to be? Well, Jack and the Beanstalk was being developed on the second floor of the Nintendo Conda building, being under the supervision of HAL Laboratories. It was being made by a team led by Yoichi Yamamoto, and Yamamoto was selected to work on the project with 4 other important Nintendo figures. Shigesato Itoi, Satoshi Iwata, Koichi Nakamura, and Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto, I think I said those right. So the game was slated to be a brand new type of game, one to utilize the Nintendo 64 disk drive to its fullest extent. Though the game was never completed, it's presumed that the plot was going to be like the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. So many of its flagships then found their way to different games, one of them being Pokemon Snap, though Yamamoto wasn't a big fan about it. And this quote, "Game designer Masanobu Yamamoto was working on Pokemon Snap, and he initially had a negative reaction to the addition of Pokemon because the characters replaced what he was working on. That time, adopting the Pokemon world clarified what we should do and the direction we should head," Yamamoto adds. "And I came to like Pokemon, so I felt that had saved us." So it sounds like he wasn't happy with this suddenly becoming a Pokemon game, but he came around. I mean, who doesn't love some Pokemon? It's suspected that other features could have been found into other games like Earthbound 64, as the Nintendo 64 disk drive and kernel clock was going to be used for the growth of the planted seeds. It's also likely that Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask used the 3-day system that Jack and the Beanstalk was going to use, though in the intro for Pokemon Snap, a logo for a team named Jack and Beans was shown along with the HAL and Nintendo logo, and it's believed that this game was the name of the main team behind which the same director, Yamamoto, had led the project. As to the availability, as of December 2023, no images or footage of the game has ever resurfaced. But no, I find this really interesting because I had always wondered, why of all the first ways to bring Pokemon to a console, did you decide to do a photography game based on a character that was a footnote in the Pokemon anime? Like, why didn't we get one where we were actually battling? Like Pokemon Stadium 2, 2 of my favorite games from the N64. So what the hell were they thinking with Pokemon Snap being the first addition to consoles? And it's like, well, it was supposed to be a completely different game. At number 2, we have The Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes lost Josh Keaton vocal performance of 2D animated series in 2012. So, the animated series, The Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which ran from 2010 to 2012, had famous Marvel hero Spider-Man guest star in 4 episodes, because at the time Spider-Man was not part of the Avengers. There was episode 39, Along Came a Spider, number 44, Yellow Jacket, number 49, New Avengers, and number 52, Avengers Assemble, which was also the official series finale. But before they premiered, a rumor arose that Josh Keaton recorded the voice of Spider-Man. He previously voiced the character in Spectacular Spider-Man, which ran from 2008 to 2009, which was an animated series, and 5 Marvel-themed video games. However, when the episodes aired, it was not Keaton that people heard. No, instead of Josh Keaton, they heard Spider-Man being voiced by Drake Bell. Now, Bell, prior to this, had only voiced Spider-Man in the animated series Ultimate Spider-Man, which ran from 2012 to 2017, which made its American premiere only 2 months earlier. Some people liked Bell's performance, but a lot said they would have preferred Keaton. Now, after confirming that Drake Bell's name was in the credits, a screenshot posted on the Facebook group Keeps the Spectacular Spider-Man Alive it showed his name in the credits, and then Keaton found the screen cap and commented, "Wow, so they redubbed my audio. I recorded a few Avengers eps as Spider-Man and was looking forward to seeing them. Typical Parker luck, I guess." So when asked why Marvel dubbed over Keaton, Chief Creative Officer Joe Quesada explained that children watching the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes immediately after Ultimate Spider-Man might become confused by Spider-Man sounding different in each show. The asker of the question proceeded to point out that some of the Avengers had made guest appearances on Ultimate Spider-Man, but not with the same voice actors from Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Quesada gave no explanation as to why Iron Man or Thor's voice changing would seem any less jarring to those children. And, so as of today, we have not recovered any of the Keaton audio. If anything, guys, I think having the same voice actor in both could be even more confusing. This is kind of a weird comparison, but when I was a kid in the 90s, there were 2 running concurrently on different networks, Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, and Sonic in both cases was voiced by Steve Urkel himself, Jaleel White. Until much later, as an adult, did I ever realize that that wasn't just one show. It was like, this show got better as it went on. It went from kind of like a normal Saturday morning cartoon to this dark underground, freedom fighter liberation against Dr. Robotnik. I just thought it was one show that kind of like developed a plot as it went on. I was a little kid, So, but yeah, no, it's weird that they would pay a man, have him do all of Spider-Man, and this is a guy who's known to be great at playing Spider-Man, and then just on a whim redub it with a guy who was Spider-Man on another show that fans were kind of about. I wonder if they were just trying to get more fans to come over to hey, this is Drake, we're having Drake Bell be Spider-Man, and if people hear him enough, they'll warm up to him, as opposed to, if anything, it wasn't that it would be jarring, it's that having Drake Bell's Spider-Man and then Keaton's Spider-Man being heard side by side, they might have been like, wow, we never should have cast Bell. So I think that was just Marvel covering their ass. At number 3, we have Age of Peace, a partially found sci-fi film for the Korean pop group H.O.T. from 2000. Now, Age of Peace was a sci-fi film released on July 15th of 2000 with a runtime of 27 minutes. It was South Korea's first 3D movie and had a budget of $6 million. It was created to promote Korean boy group H.O.T. The movie starred the 5 members of the group and the pre-debut Dana from the group CSJH, The Grace. My wife's the one who loves K-pop, so I don't know who any of these are. Now, the plot of the movie, 5 boys, portrayed by the H.O.T. members, live in a futuristic society where they're invaded by aliens by the name of Zeus that wish to take over the world. The only way for H.O.T. to save their society is to win a soccer match against aliens. So, I'm getting Space Jam vibes, I'm just saying. We'll see. So not much is known about the details of the plot. It is known that in one scene, one of the characters trips during the soccer game. The goalie runs over to him and encourages him to continue the game. In another scene, a character leaves the game suddenly to save the princess, portrayed by Dana, that is in danger. The rest of the team continues to play while he has to fight a dinosaur to save her. There is also a random concert scene where the group performs the title song from the soundtrack OP.T, Operation Takeover. It is not apparent as to why this scene is in the movie as of yet. This is a lot going on for a 27-minute movie. So the movie was shot in 3 weeks in Japan at Shirogumi Studios, apparently in front of green screens. Every visual aspect of it was digitized except for the actors' faces. It was apparently directed by a man named Lawrence Lee. And despite the lack of prior acting experience, the members of HOT took no acting lessons before shooting the film. The film was first released in Japan in July of 2000, then released in Korea to 30 theaters nationwide, including the Megabox COEX Theater and possibly the Lot World Theme Park Theater in Seoul. It was later released in Beijing on February 27th of 2000. A revised version was later shown at Everland, which is South Korea's largest theme park, on May of 2001. 30 theaters sounds like a small release to me, but I don't know how... I would assume there's a ton of movie theaters in South Korea, so yeah, that sounds like a small amount. Now, despite the popularity of the group, the movie did not do well. I could have told you that. Many of the theaters at the time did not have the technology for 3D movies, so it was only shown in theaters with such technology. Okay, that kind of explains the limited release. Now, apparently an original soundtrack performed by HOT was released alongside the movie, as well as a photo album containing stills of the film, though these stills have also yet to surface online. This one is interesting to me, not because I'm a K-pop fan. I listen to a ton of it because my wife is a huge K-pop stan. She's big into Stray Kids, Dreamcatcher, and Blackpink. But no, in this day and age, if something like this was done, it wouldn't matter if it was a film made of like untrained boy band actors. It would still, one, it would sell like gangbusters, and two, it would get like a streaming release. It would get a home media release. But I guess back in 2000, they just didn't think it was worth it. I mean, I get it. The whole 3D aspect is limiting. I remember, I think it was in like, what was it, 2000? 1999 maybe? There were similar issues with the kind of film they shot Star Wars The Phantom Menace on, where it was like, yeah, it's not going, a lot of theaters can't play this, or they had to upgrade their material. So it sounds like it was a new thing. K-pop was not nearly as big internationally as it is now, but it does sound like it was still pretty big in Korea, and the tech just wasn't in all the theaters yet to get this movie a wide release, and it might have gotten a slightly better reception, though it sounds like these guys were probably kind of shit at acting, so I'm not surprised it got lost, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who would still love to see it. Alright guys, coming in at number 4, we've got Ang Aswang, a lost Filipino talkie film from 1933. Ang Aswang, which translates to The Ghoul, is a 1933 horror film produced by George Musser. It is the first locally produced film to feature optically recorded sound. It is also regarded as the first partial talkie film and was produced by Manila Talkatone Studios. The film premiered at Lyric Theater on January 1st of 1933, so literally the first film of 1933, and at Tivoli on January 4th. So as to the film, in 1932, Musser imported 50,000 pesos worth of optical sound equipment and turned his house and turned it into a studio. He spent a year shooting the film with Charles Miller as his cinematographer and William Smith as his sound man. The film was only shot on weekends and holidays. Translated as The Vampire for non-Filipino viewers, and that, if you don't know, is because an aswang is a Filipino monster, cryptid, whatever, so other audiences wouldn't really know what it was. Its dialogue, though, was in Spanish and English despite the Filipino title. Starring in the film were Mary Walter and Queen of Horror Pictures, Monang Carvajal, I don't know how to say, Montserrat Garcia, Arturo Swanson, and stage veteran Matias Garcia and Celia Zerez Burgos. I am so sorry, I probably said all of those terribly. And they were who was entrusted with the leading female role. According to some observers, the sound was sometimes out of sync and inaudible. So the research was done by the Aswang project, and they have said that there are no known prints in existence. A remake of the film was made by the Asian Film Archives. The only known pieces related to the film that we currently have are the print ad and the levitating Aswang said to be in the poster. So, no one really seems to have commented on whether the film was good or not, just that the audio was sometimes a little out of sync, but it sounds like this was a labor of love project by a guy, working on the weekends with people to make this film, which was was an early talkie film. And, I think just for what it is historically, whether the film's good or not, I think it is probably, it's an important piece of film history, and I wish we could find it. A slight correction. Apparently all we have from the film actually is the print ad. The poster of the levitating Aswang is a recreation. So all we have about this is a print ad stating that it is the first Filipino-Spanish all-talking picture, which is still really cool. Alright guys, before we get to that final piece, let me just give you a little brief rundown of ways you can help support this channel, make sure these videos keep coming out, that I'm able to do good content, that I'm able to do new content, and that I'm able to be consistent with the content. Those of you returning to the channel know that I make custom miniatures, both tabletop, normal, custom kit bashed miniatures for all kinds of tabletop games. I make spicy HeroClix repaints, and I also take commissions. If there's a type of mini or a character you've been wanting to see, or maybe you just want a handmade version of your D&D character, hit me up. My prices are very reasonable. There is also you can become a channel member. You can leave a tip, like a super thanks. You can join the Patreon. I have multiple tiers of both membership and Patreon, and I do member exclusive videos, including that the upcoming Found Media Iceberg is going to be a Patreon member exclusive, but to gain access to all of my member exclusive videos, all you have to do is join the $1 a month tier. It is that simple. It is that cheap. Again, I'm not asking a lot, but if you want to help support the channel, you can either join as a member or patron, or you can make a one-time purchase of one of my miniatures. I have quite a few available for sale currently, and I'm trying to get more almost every week. So, again, thank you so much, and let's get to that final spicy piece of lesser-known lost media. So for this spicy entry, we actually are talking about a time where something spicy was made less spicy. We're talking about the Playboy Channel religious message, lost footage of television hijack from 1987. So, back before the lovely days of the internet where that sweet, sweet, spicy content was at your fingertips at all times, sometimes you had to pay for a premium membership for things like the Playboy Channel, or you could watch it scrambled sometimes if you were lucky. But, being a 1988 baby myself, who knows? Maybe my parents were snuggled in to watch a film to get them in the mood to make me when what should happen but a religious message appeared on screen. So this hijack occurred during the airing of the film Three Daughters on the Playboy Channel. Now, sometimes during the broadcast, a message was displayed on the screen saying, "Thus saith the Lord thy God, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Repent, the kingdom of heaven is at hand." These sayings, of course, being from the Bible, verses Exodus 28 and Matthew 4:17. Now, Thomas Haney, an employee of the Christian Broadcasting Network, was convicted of satellite piracy in connection with the incident. Haney, who pleaded his incident, was the first person convicted under a new federal law that made satellite hacking a felony following the Captain Midnight incident, which is, of course, a much more well-known piece of, hijacking. Also, I believe that's also a much more well-known piece of lost media, hence why it's not on this channel. Now, according to the investigators, it was the religious content of the transmission and the type of equipment used that drew them to CBN. The jamming signal left behind subtle technical clues that were captured on a VHS recording made at Playboy Channel's uplink at the time of the event, like finding fingerprints in the video. After investigators were confident that they identified the brand of transmitter and character generator from the video, they concluded that CBN was the culprit. Hain, a Virginia Beach, Virginia, was on duty at his job as an uplink engineer at the time of the jamming. CBN maintained that the FCC's case was entirely circumstantial since there were no witnesses and the signal could not be traced to a point of origin. During the investigation, experts on both sides attempted to create the incident with CBN's equipment. According to CBN spokesman Dino McCann, they were unsuccessful. Furthermore, CBN asserted that there was not enough power for Hain to jam Playboy's signal, but during the trial, government witnesses said CBN's station was capable of interfering with satellite transmissions. So after initially being deadlocked, the jury eventually sided with the prosecution and convicted Haney on 2 of 6 counts. Haney was acquitted of similar charges of interfering with the American Ecstasy Channel. A recording of the event was such poor quality that it was unusable. Haney received 3 years of probation, a $1,000 fine, and 150 hours of community service. Now, as to the availability of this broadcast intrusion was the second before the Max Headroom television hijacking pirate incident that happened in 1987. It was mentioned in the books Computer Ethics, Cautionary Tales, and Ethical Dilemmas in Computing by Tom Forrester and Perry Morrison, and Who Owns Information? From Privacy to Public Access by Anne Branscombe. Also, the broadcast intrusion was told in some news and newspaper. However, it did not make a splash after the sensational Max Headroom incident, so no footage of the broadcast intrusion has resurfaced, and given the limited attention the intrusions received, it's unlikely any footage will ever be found. All that is available is one image of the hijacking on Dr. Marcus Michael's website, and it is alleged that this is a photo of the message. I mean, this one's interesting. I just kind of find it a little funny. It's like, I'm not really sure why they thought that these people have paid for a porn channel, and they're watching it, they're sitting down, they're probably, let's be honest, either they're by themselves wanking it, or they're with their lover, they're watching an erotic movie, they're about to do it, and they seem like, I don't care if this religion, if I'm either about to do the deed or in the middle of the deed, like, yeah, my wife and I watch adult content from time to time together. If this message showed up, I would not stop, all right? It would not stop me from finishing the deed. I understand that now that we're married, the Christians don't care what we do, but even, when we were just dating, not even engaged, I would not stop. I would finish. Like, this just seems like kind of a stupid thing to do, but, I mean, religious people aren't always known to make the smartest decisions. Still, I'm not really sure what the end game was. I mean, I know what the end game was, I just don't know why they thought it would be effective. Like, I'll be honest, if I'm on the hub and I'm working it to a video, and all of a sudden an ad pops up that goes, "Have you thought about Jesus lately?" I'll be like, "No, I haven't," and I'm gonna move on. Like, it's not gonna make me rethink my life. But you know what? The 80s were a different time. Who knows? You might have just been the right level of horny plus cocaine buzz to convert back to Jesus. And that's the video, guys. I want to thank you so much for being here today. If you are willing to help support the channel, please do so. I appreciate it so much. Just to let you know, I am trying to get back on a more regular video release schedule, but I am starting a new job on Monday. So I've left the nonprofit I was working for, and I will be starting a new job. And again, Roro still has his medical issues. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your continued support. And until next time, everybody. Oh wait, almost forgot. Got to shout out my two wonderful patrons, both members of the Beta Club, J Dog and SJ Drifter 72. Thank you guys so much. And if you'd like to hear your names listed at the end of my videos once a week, there are tiers for that. Again, until next time, everybody, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.